The difference one 8-year-old made in a Pittsburgh community, next on the Feel Good Frequency.
She's the friend who'll show up with coffee or wine when you need it most. But probably wine. Good vibes are on the way. Welcome to Aaron O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
I'm here today with Sarah and Xander O'Brien in Pittsburgh. Well, you're just in a suburb of Pittsburgh, not too far away. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
It's great to have you guys here. Xander, you are 8.5. Because when I asked off the air, you're still 8, right? I got the half too. I'm here to tell you, bud, that as you get older, the half will disappear.
As you get older, you add it onto your height.
That's really true. I've never thought about that before, but I'm pretty sure I'm 5'5.5" on my driver's license, and that's not true. So you, Xander, are quite a little rock star. I grew up in Pittsburgh. My family told me about this story that they saw on KDKA out there about you and some incredible work that you are doing in Bell Vernon, the community you live in, for the Bag Brigade. So I want to know how this all started. Mom, did you work with the Bag Brigade at first and that's how he got involved? Or tell me what that even is, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know.
So the Bag Brigade is a local nonprofit here started by 3 lovely women out of their church, which is only like 2 miles away from our house. And they found a need that there were children in the Bell Vernon School District who were just not getting enough food and didn't have enough food for the weekends. And so they started I think they said they started with like 20 kids in the other elementary school that he's not in. He's in Ross Traber. They started in Marion. And it just kind of started from there and grew. When COVID hit, they were packing 900 plus bags a week.
Wow.
Because they were taking the supplemental food that came in for the actual district and just dispersing it out to children who just didn't have enough to eat. And I think currently we're like right around 245, 250 kids that they feed per week. So when he started in kindergarten here, we got like a letter about them. And if you qualified, well, I don't even want to say if you qualified, if you felt like your child needed, you submit a form. But then they also had, when you come back, a kickoff for back to school, like bring in peanut butter crackers throughout the year. Like there's a couple things like at one of the I think it's not the homecoming, but one of the bigger football games, they do like a stuff-a-bus. And I was just like, oh, this is a really cool organization. And then about 2 years ago, they posted that they needed drivers. And I was like, well, it's all local. So how do you not offer? So I said, okay, well, and she said, why don't you come up and see what we do? And I was like, okay. So I took him up with me because that was my big thing. I've always wanted him to kind of volunteer to do something just so he has that aspect in his life. But it's so hard at this age because nobody wants, at the time he was 6 and nobody wants to deal with somebody who's 6. So we went up there and they were like, oh, he can come and he can pack bags and he can do stuff. So we picked up a route. We are coming up in a week and a half. We've been there for 2 years. We've been delivering to the same, I think 5 or 6 families for the last 2 years. He doesn't always get to do the route with me just because of logistics and him having hockey and other activities. When he can, he delivers and he goes up and packs as many weeks as he can. So it was basically just an easy way to get him involved with volunteering at a very young age at an organization that made it very easy to bring your children with you. Yeah, I mean, because that's always the kicker. So, that's kind of how it started. Like they went there and, gave you this little tiny flyer that says, hey, send in some peanut butter crackers. So I was like, cool, awesome. I'm like, let's send in some peanut butter crackers. And then it was like, well, follow us on Facebook. And then I followed them and saw that they needed drivers. And I was like, hey, why don't we go up there and, pick up a route? I mean, we live in Bell Vernon. From one side to the other is like 7 miles.
It's so great how you just organically, like one thing after the next led you deeper and deeper into this organization. And then you got Xander interested in it. So then where did the whole cereal box fundraiser come in?
So somehow, I think this was the 6th year for it. They got this idea that they were going to collect cereal boxes, and it helps supplement during the summer months when kids are not in school so that they're at least getting like breakfast for at least a week if you give them a box of cereal. They do this cereal like domino drop where they line them all up in the school. And I mean, if it's anything to entertain children, I mean, it's okay to line up a couple hundred boxes, but when you're talking about like almost 1,000 boxes.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot.
Yeah. And every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, So the first year, again, we sent in some cereal boxes because I was like, I don't know what this place is about, but okay. They seem to be wanting to do good work. And then last year, he was like, well, Mom, I'd like to try to see how many boxes we can get for the people on our route. And I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And he got 125. And I said,
Wow.
okay.
Now, how did you do that, Xander? How did you get 125 boxes of cereal? Did you ask people you knew, or how did that work? Because that's a lot of cereal.
Go ahead. Tell her. People we knew just posted on Facebook. We're like, hey, does anybody want to make a donation? Made an Amazon wish list page, put it out there. And people just, if it's easy, if it's just something for people to ship and click and whatnot. And, a lot of people just gave me money and said, here, go buy some cereal because you probably know where the cheapest boxes or how to stretch it the most.
If you make it easy for people to help, they will help so quickly.
Correct.
And that's what I love.
So this year, his goal was like, oh, we're just going to double what we gave last year. We added drop-off places for him. So
Oh.
he had like 4 or 5 places around here to drop off boxes so that people could, if they didn't want to do name brand cereal, which was what was on the Amazon list, if you wanted to go to Aldi or Walmart or Target or the dollar store or whatever, where they have kind of the generic brand, but it's also, it goes just as well. We got a lot of donations from there. So that was pretty nice.
You said you had drop places. Was it in local stores and shops and that kind of thing that people could go drop them off?
We certainly had one up at the hockey rink up there because we spend 90% of our life at that hockey rink. So probably several hundred boxes came through there. So
Wow.
I will say the rink took off with the story. So we had, when other teams were coming in to play other games, they were bringing cereal with them. So we
Oh my
cannot be
gosh.
thankful enough. Yeah, we cannot be thankful enough. People just every week just bringing 3 or 4 boxes, 3 or 4 boxes, 3 or 4 boxes. Well, if you add up 3 or 4 boxes all the time, I mean, it starts to add up to hundreds and hundreds of boxes. Some of Xander's teammates had little, they had family that were like, hey, we see that this kid plays with you. Why don't you take a couple boxes from us in? So some of them were bringing in, 15, 20 boxes. Some people at their jobs had posted his story and, here's another 15, 20 boxes.
Now, Xander, you were very excited to
So-
talk when we first started this, and you haven't said a word. So what do you have to say about all of this? Has this been amazing for you? Because not only did you get in the local newspaper, but you've also been on TV in Pittsburgh. It's traveled around the country. You've gotten boxes of cereal from all different kinds of states. And I just didn't even realize it until I was doing some research about chatting with you. People magazine even picked up this story.
On their online forum, they did. Yes.
Yes, that
I
is
know.
huge.
Somebody shared it to me and I was like, what? Because no one had ever said anything. And I was like, wow, that's pretty shocking. So
It was incredible. And it's one of the only stories that I have seen on social media where there's not one bad comment. I mean, you'd really have to work hard to try to find something bad, but there's always somebody. And I was so excited to see one after the next of just love and support. And people were so impressed. He's 8.5, and he wants to do something to help others. I love that you've instilled that in him and that he is having fun with it and is clearly proud of it. Xander, are you proud of everything you've done here?
Yeah.
You should be. It's a big deal. So what is your favorite cereal? I just have to ask that on the fly because I'm kind of curious now.
Snowflakes.
what? No. What's your favorite cereal?
Um,
Lucky Charms.
Me too!
You
Because
know
of
why?
the
Because-
marshmallows?
So they can pick the marshmallows out. That's the only part of it they eat organically.
We would always have Lucky Charms when we were kids, and I would pick out the marshmallows, and my poor sister would be left with the oat cereal that, you try to avoid when you have it in the bowl, to the point that as an adult, she has sent me, they make a bag of just marshmallows, and she
They
sent them to
do,
me.
but it's not the same because they're
It's
big
not.
and puffy and they're not tiny and dried out. He also said he didn't mean snowflakes. He meant frosted flakes too. So
Oh,
he does.
Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, well, anything
good
that's got
too.
sugar added onto
Yeah.
it.
Frosted Flakes
so-
are good too. So your goal then, last year you said a couple hundred boxes, and then this year you wanted to double it. So what was the original goal?
300.
300.
300. Yeah, we wanted to basically just double what we'd given last year, a little bit more, So we start kind of in early February. I kind of gear people up, talking about that he's getting ready to do this. And really, right around Valentine's Day, middle of February, I kick off hey, we're really going hard on our collection, because the domino drop is at the end of March. And he ended up with 1,723 boxes.
Oh my gosh! Xander,
Mhm.
that's
Yes.
amazing. Oh my gosh, that is
That was dear.
outstanding.
Yes. So,
Pumpkin.
Wow, I didn't know what
so
the total was. I didn't know what the grand total was. That is remarkable.
yeah, blown away by the amount of Xander's donation is going to feed the whole entire bag brigade for 2/3 of the summer. Just
Oh,
with what he's brought in alone. Imagine that this goon did all that.
you should be so proud of yourself, buddy. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah,
And
you're
I
proud?
mean, it's definitely a feel good story. And then I have, if you can imagine, I have another one behind him who might be even more chaotic than he is. And he is only 3.5, just shy of 4. So he also volunteers at the Bag Brigade. And that I get a lot of interesting, well, how does he do that? What does he do? So first of all, again, they make it very easy for him to come. So it's not like it's chaos or anything. But they put bread in bags and then put peanut butter in there, or jelly, depending on what kind of bread it is, make a breakfast or lunch sandwich.
Mhm.
They put the jelly in with cinnamon toast and stuff like that. Henry pops open the plastic bags. He can literally pop open 50 bags in, like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 minutes. So when he doesn't come, people are like, oh, it's a lot of work this week because nobody opened all the bags for us.
But I mean, that's such an easy thing, and it keeps him involved, and
It
he
does.
feels like he's accomplishing something. I love that.
Then when he's done and doesn't want to do anything, he goes in the back and he helps the girls separate out like the hygiene items and stuff like that.
I love that they've incorporated kids that really want to be part of it, and that they're making it fun. They're making them feel like they've accomplished something, because they have. But I have to say, kudos to you for teaching your kids. And it's so important that there are plenty of kids out there that don't have a full pantry, that don't
Correct.
have snacks readily available. And
Correct.
I think the younger you start them in something like this, the more they're going to appreciate what they do have and want to help others. I love that. I mean, kudos to your parenting.
Thank you. I mean, I never really think about it like that. I just feel like I just want to help. We're all out here doing the best that we can. And I'm like, this is one little thing that we can do that helps people. And Xander and I we have, out of my original, I probably have 2 or 3 families I've been delivering for 2 years consistently. And they just love him, love me every week that I come, and it's been a great experience. It's easy for him to do something when he feels comfortable. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly you can see him, like, he's a mess. But they
He's
make
just fun.
He's 8 is what he is. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. You take an 8-year-old anywhere else and they're going to be like, he can't volunteer here. Sometimes halfway through packing at the Bag Brigade, he wants to sit down and watch YouTube on my phone, and he takes a break and he sits down, and that's how it works. Every
Right.
day is not perfect, but every day we need to try. And, so that's what he does.
And I think that is terrific. Like I said, you are instilling great things in this little sweet boy. And so, Xander, what is your goal next year?
2000.
2000?
I think you just said 2000. I don't know about all that, Miss Aaron. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get as much publicity next year as he did this year, but you never know. I mean,
You never know.
you just never know. I'm sure that he's not going to get on KDK. That's what I'm trying to explain to him. I'm like, we got a lot this year because you got picked up by a lot of places. So I crack up, but he's so freaking cute. I mean,
He is so cute. You had so many packages of cereal delivered to your house. Where did you keep it all? Do you have the biggest garage ever?
no, we have a giant basement that there is hardly anything in.
I saw the best picture of, I think
Yeah,
you
the best-
guys were at hockey practice and you came home, and the poor Amazon
Mhm.
delivery guy had, I don't know, 50 or more boxes just piled up at your front door.
We had literally just left maybe a half an hour before, and my neighbor next door texted me and she said, hey, are you guys home? And I said, no. I said, we're on our way to Mount Lebanon, which is about 45 minutes away from us. And she said, the Amazon man is unloading the whole Amazon truck onto the front of your porch. And I'm like, so Kevin opened the doorbell doorbell app. And
Yeah.
he goes, oh man, this is so bad. He goes, look at this. You could see the guy stacking because you've seen it on the news. So we had to call my parents to come out, and they moved it all down into the basement, and then we just unloaded it and sorted it. And I will say this, my husband is probably the big superhero of all that part of counting and sorting and moving all that through, because it's a lot of work. I mean, because
Oh, yes.
people were not just sending like 1 or 2 boxes. It was coming 4 to 6 boxes in every box,
We are getting 1,000,000 boxes next
so
time.
Well, that is quite a lofty goal, but anything you put your mind to, buddy, you'll be able to do because you have that energy. And of course, people are going to want to help you and help what you think is worth helping. And that is the biggest part of it, is that you're involved in something where you're helping others. And that's you making a difference at such a young age. That's really cool.
I'm involved.
What did you say? I'm evolving?
he said I'm involving. He's no involving.
I'm involving. I like that.
I don't think he understands all of this stuff. Like, I don't think he understands how far it's gone. When I say, oh, somebody else wants to talk to you, he's like, really? Somebody else really still cares about my cereal drive? I'm like, a lot of people care about your cereal drive. You know what I mean? So.
And look at the difference that one person can make. I mean, obviously, you helped out getting the word out on social media and that kind of thing, but it's so cool that he's learning at such a young age the difference that he can make by wanting to help others. And then to see how many strangers wanted to help him. It's just,
Yes.
we need more stories like this. You don't hear enough about
And
it.
just people that were like, I mean, we've gone through some of the, because you can send a note when you send a gift on Amazon.
Mhm.
Some lady sent a box and was like, when I was a girl, Fruity Pebbles were just coming out. And I'm thinking, oh God, how old is this poor lady? And she said, they were always my favorite when I was a kid. So I sent you a couple boxes, and I hope that they add to your total to make your total successful. And I just thought to myself, wow. I mean, we got one from someone in New Jersey. He's like, I listened to you on KDKA radio. And he's like, I had my wife go find your story on social media to figure out how we could send cereal. And I thought to myself, if he's listening on the radio, I'm like, he's definitely much older in age. I mean, just people who were like, I hope my 1 box makes a difference. I hope my couple boxes makes a difference. And I want people to know, regardless if you could only send a box or if you sent a dozen boxes, like, every box counts.
Yeah.
It matters, and it's all going to go to a great cause. And kids are going to eat this summer because of the people who have given donations. And I think that's the biggest thing to drive home for us, is it's the notoriety is great. Like, I mean, he loves this stuff. He eats it up. You've been delightful with him, but kids are going to eat because he decided to show up and put himself out there in very, as you can see, uncomfortable situations, because, he's awkward. He's 8, but I mean, you have to do that and get out of your comfort zone, and let's just see how much we can really do. And like I said, I thought we'd get like a couple hundred boxes. I was like, I don't think this is going to be that big. And then 1,200 boxes of cereal came in 6 days. And I was like,
Oh my gosh, that
Oh,
fast?
yeah. Yeah. So it really was heavily coming to our house for about 11 days after Megan's story went out. 11 days of just like that Saturday morning. I think it dropped on a Friday evening. And that Saturday morning, I woke up, came downstairs. It was like 7 a.m. and there were like 2 boxes out there. And I was like, okay. And then an hour later, there were 4 boxes out there. And then a couple hours later, there were like 6 boxes. It was so bad, we had to leave the porch light on until like 11 o'clock at night because, Amazon does deliver that late. So we had to leave the light on. In addition to just people in our neighborhood dropping off cereal all times a day, just our front porch just became this kind of thing where people just came.
I loved that part of the story, to see all those Amazon boxes.
I would love to have met that guy. Like, I would love for him to come back here and just say hello, take a nice group picture or something, because his face, I was like, that poor man is probably like, I will say this though, I was like, well, it is cereal, so it's not heavy. He wasn't
I was thinking that.
He was not lifting like boxes with SpaghettiOs or something that had bulk to it. It
Right.
was cereal. But I mean, I just can't imagine how he was stacking it and stacking it. And my husband did have someone come the one day, and he said, oh, I have 18 boxes for you. It was one of like their supplemental drivers or whatever. He said, are you guys like having Christmas or something? My husband said, and my husband said, go ahead and shake that box. And he said, oh, sir, I'm not allowed to do that. So my husband shook it, and he said, what is that? He said, it's cereal. He said, my kid is having a cereal drive for his school. And he said, yeah, Google cereal drive, Belle Vernon. And this guy did on his phone, and he said, is that your kid? And my husband was like, yeah, that's him. And he's like, no way. That's so awesome.
2/3 of the people that are going to need to eat are eating just because of your
Just because
cereal
of
drive
him.
this
And then
summer.
in addition to that, his school raised another almost 500 boxes. And then I think Marion Elementary probably raised over 1,000 also. So they're definitely all going to be fed over the summer cereal wise, which is great. But, it's a big take on for next year, Erin.
It's going to be tough to top this year, but I think you can do it, especially because people are already aware of it. That's
I
the
know.
other
And I
big
don't
thing.
know, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I'll say this, the year after, we're going hardcore because that's when my younger son, Henry, goes to kindergarten. So they'll actually be in the same district at the same time. And they plan on going absolutely over the top for it. So
Are
because
they going to compete with each other or
no,
join forces?
they're going to join forces and they're going to be the cereal kings together.
I am so excited to see what you do in the future, buddy, because you are already making a difference. And I know you just think it's all fun because then you were saying the domino thing, you get to line all of the cereal boxes up and then knock them over.
Since he's the cereal king, he gets to start it. So he gets to
Ah,
push it down. And then
that's
this
cool.
year, his teacher made him a personalized cereal box. So he has his own cereal box with him. Yeah.
Oh, that is so sweet.
He's on a Frosted Flakes box. You know how they used to put athletes on Wheaties box? He's in
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in his hockey. Yeah, he's in his hockey gear on a
I love that for you. Xander, I just want to tell you that I think you're a really great kid and I just met you, but I'm already super proud of you. And I hope you just keep helping people because the world needs more people like you.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for taking time to chat with me.
Do you have a Facebook page or something that we
Oh,
can
yeah.
follow so we can stay in touch with you? Because we love you.
Absolutely.
You're so freaking awesome, miss.
You're awesome. My Facebook page is just facebook.com/Erin O'Malley's Frequency, but I
Okay.
will send you all of that so you have it
Please
and
do.
we can stay
Because
in
we
touch.
would love to
because I
stay in
definitely
touch
want
with
to.
you because we think you're super cool.
You are the best.
See?
Aw, you're so
Now
sweet.
take that from an 8.5-year-old miss that said you're the best. Run with
I am
that.
honored. I am
Mhm.
running with that. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. I am so grateful that the both of you took time out of your day to hang out with me a little bit. Thank you for what you have done for your community and for just being good humans. We need more of you in the world. We absolutely do. And I truly admire how parents are really teaching their kids at a young age that they can make a difference in this world, that the smallest things that may not seem like a big deal really do matter. You don't know what anybody's going through. And especially if you are blessed enough to have plenty of food, it's really good for kids to know that not everyone does and they can help. They can make a difference. So thank you for sharing that story and for helping your community. If you know somebody who is making the world a better place, share them with me so I can share them with everybody. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com is my website. I'll email you right back. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. Thank you again for being here. I hope you have a terrific week. Bye.